Good afternoon. It's Monday, March 13th. I'm Yael Shir, and this is IBA News, broadcasting live from Jerusalem. A knife-wielding Palestinian attacked two Israeli border police in Jerusalem early this morning and was then shot dead by one of the officers. The attack happened around 4:30 a.m. at one of the entrances to the Old City, the Lion's Gate. According to Israel's National Emergency Service, Magen David Adom, both police are suffering upper body wounds and are in stable condition. In the aftermath of the attack, police raided the home of the terrorists in East Jerusalem's Jebel Mukaber neighborhood, where the 25-year-old attacker lived. 4 people were arrested, including family members. The neighborhood is known as Terror Village and has been the source of some of the deadliest attacks in Israel. Security has been on high alert during the Purim holiday, and extra troops have been deployed in the city. U.S. President Donald Trump's special advisor for international negotiations, Jason Greenblatt, has arrived in Israel and is scheduled to meet with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu later today. Greenblatt is the first official from the Trump administration to visit the country, and his goal is to revive peace talks between Israel and the Palestinian Authority. Also on the agenda are meetings with President Reuven Rivlin in Jerusalem and Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas in Ramallah. Greenblatt will also be sitting down with leader of the Knesset opposition, Isaac Herzog, National Security Council head, Yaakov Nagel, and coordinator of government activities in the territories, Major General Yoav Mordechai. Ahead of the visit, there has been speculation that Americans are exploring the readiness to open a three-way summit of Trump, Netanyahu, and Abbas. The Jerusalem Post reports that Greenblatt will also be spearheading the initiative to work out the guidelines regarding the Israeli construction in the settlements. Greenblatt will be traveling with Yael Lempert, a prominent figure in the development of the 10-year, $38 billion military aid package to Israel. As talk of a two-state solution is revived, there are many misconceptions regarding what it entails. Ambassador Alan Baker, a former legal advisor to the Foreign Ministry, explains what two-state really means.
Virtually all the leaders that refer on a daily basis to the two-state solution, quote unquote, don't really know what they're talking about. And they think that this is the ultimate solution to all the problems of the Middle East. The truth is that the two-state solution has been something that's developed over the years. It figures in many of the major documents between Israel and the Palestinians, and it refers to a Palestinian political entity which may be a state minus or an autonomy plus, but it's a limited entity, demilitarized, without capability of importing weapons or inviting hostile elements to come in, and it has to be based on recognition of Israel as the home of the Jewish people, in the same way that Israel would recognize this entity as the home of the Palestinian people. Any assumption that we're talking about a Palestinian state or political entity obviously assumes that this is one unified government, not a mixture of Hamas and Fatah, which are totally divided. It has to be unified. It has to be capable of fulfilling the obligations that it takes upon itself. It has to be capable of fulfilling international obligations if it wants to play on the international community. But first and foremost, it has to accept the fact that it's a limited entity. It won't have the capability of fielding an army, and it can't be a threat on Israel. You know, one would expect that if the Palestinians were in favor of the idea of statehood, then why are they going to the United Nations? Why are they trying to delegitimize Israel? Why are they running to the International Criminal Court to try and delegitimize Israel? Everything they're doing points to exactly the antithesis of two states living side by side in harmony and in peace. So first of all, they should get their act in order, and only then we can really get down to solid consideration of some type of political entity headed by the Palestinians.
In political news, former Defense Minister Moshe Ya'alon resigned his membership in the ruling Likud party last night, accusing the movement of changing its face. While affirming his loyalty to the ideals of party founder Menachem Begin and Zionist ideologue Ze'ev Jabotinsky, Ya'alon explained that he could no longer be part of an organization that he believes has been taken over by, quote, extremist and dangerous forces. Ya'alon added that he has no faith in party leader Benjamin Netanyahu. Last week, Ya'alon, who served as IDF chief of staff prior to entering politics, announced that he is forming a new right-wing party that would provide an alternative to the Likud and that he would run for leadership of the country. Likud minister Ze'ev Elkin rejected Ya'alon's position, saying the Likud was the same as when the general joined in 2008. Prime Minister Netanyahu has promised American reform leaders, headed by Union for Reform Judaism President Rick Jacobs, that he's committed to creating an egalitarian prayer space at the Western Wall. In January of 2016, the Israeli government vowed to create a prayer space after negotiations with the organization Women of the Wall and other liberal groups requested that they be allowed to pray there. However, the plan has been delayed due to pressure from the ultra-Orthodox community. On Sunday, Netanyahu revealed that he appointed Tzachi Hanegbi, the minister in charge of national security and foreign affairs, to initiate the space and bridge the gap between the two sides. Iran's foreign minister, Mohammad Javad Zarif, has assailed Prime Minister Netanyahu's remarks that Tehran seeks to destroy the Jewish state, as ancient Persia sought to destroy the Jewish people. Zarif wrote on Twitter, quote, "To sell bigoted lies against a nation which has saved Jews 3 times, Netanyahu is resorting to fake history and falsifying Torah. Force of habit." He went on to write that King Ahasuerus saved the Jews from Haman's plot, and later the Iranian King Cyrus saved the Jews from captivity in Babylon. He also claimed that during the Second World War, when Jews were being slaughtered in Europe, Iran gladly took them in. British national Hugh Lanning, chairman of the pro-BDS organization Palestine Solidarity Campaign, has been denied entrance into Israel based on a new law passed by the Knesset last week, which bans entry to foreigners who publicly call for the boycott of Israel. The Interior Ministry's Population and Immigration Authority and the Strategic Affairs Ministry issued a joint statement that said, quote, "The organization Mr. Lanning heads is one of the leading anti-Israel delegitimization and BDS organizations in Britain and one of the largest in Europe." Minister of Strategic Affairs Gilad Erdan said in a statement, "Whoever acts against Israel should understand that the rules of the game have changed. No sane country would allow entry to key boycott activists working to harm the country's core interests and lead to its isolation." Israel also accused Lanning of maintaining ties with Hamas terror organization. Lanning flew back to London this morning. An Israeli trekker has been found dead in Pokhara, a populous tourist destination city in Nepal. Hotel staffers were alerted when 20-year-old Elad Cooper from Or Yehuda had not been seen outside of his room at Hotel Dream Inn for several days. Police broke down the door and discovered Cooper lying on his bed without breathing. The cause of death remains unclear, and Cooper's body has been sent for an autopsy. Officials from the Israeli embassy in Kathmandu are working to bring his body back to Israel. Today, Jerusalem residents are celebrating Purim, a day after other cities in Israel. IBA's Sam Sokol hit the streets of the city and discovers the topsy-turvy merriment, as we'll see in this report.
Overcast skies and a persistent drizzle weren't enough to dampen Purim spirits in Jerusalem's ultra-Orthodox Mea Shearim neighborhood this morning, with revelers taking to the streets to celebrate the failure, thousands of years ago, of a plot to exterminate the Jews of the Persian Empire. Fulfilling the religious imperative of imbibing copious amounts of wine on this holiday, drunk merrymakers danced and gyrated around a synagogue belonging to the Breslov Hasidic sect as deafening music blared from loudspeakers. One enterprising Hasid even went so far as to replace a traditional fur hat with one made of popcorn. Not everyone appeared to be in a holiday mood, however, with some residents hurling abuse and insults at passersby, and others clashing with police who arrived to remove an effigy of an ultra-Orthodox soldier hanging from a residential building. Only streets away from the conflict, however, the dancing went on, and families with children continued their holiday strolls without a care in the world.
In sports, a disappointing loss for Team Israel at the World Baseball Classic in Tokyo a short while ago when the previously undefeated team lost 2-12 to the Netherlands. They entered the game after a stunning victory over highly favored Cuba yesterday. They celebrated their win as well as the Festival of Purim by reading the Megillah at the Tokyo Dome. The team also posted their mascot, Mensch on a Bench, on their Facebook page. Team Israel went into today's game after previously beating the Netherlands 4-2 on Thursday to finish top of the pool with a 3-0 record. Despite today's loss, Team Israel next takes on Japan on Wednesday. A victory would guarantee Team Israel a spot in the tournament semifinals in Los Angeles. In financial news, the U.S. chip giant Intel has announced that it is buying Mobileye for over $15 billion. This would be the largest ever acquisition for an Israeli high-tech company. The Israeli technology in Mobileye alerts drivers to obstacles and is reportedly a key element for the world's biggest auto manufacturers to pave the way for self-driving vehicles. Shares of Mobileye have skyrocketed nearly 35% since the report came out. Intel said that a newly formed global autonomous driving organization will be headquartered in Jerusalem. And the stocks were mixed on the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, and the shekel was mixed in foreign exchange trading. Here are the late afternoon numbers. Turning to the forecast, the IBA weather team says that tonight will be partly cloudy with a chance of light showers and unseasonably low temperatures. Tomorrow will be partly cloudy with light rain in the north and center and no significant change in temperatures. Here's a look at the highs and lows for the next 24 hours at home and abroad. That's all for this newscast. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same channel, when Laura Cornfield will be at this desk. Until then, I'm Yael Shir, wishing you a good evening, happy Purim, and shalom.